Hey, what's up, everybody? Okay, so this is my camera woman, Renee, and so I'm giving her moringa cuttings. So tell me your quick little adventure with moringa.
So my uncle had a moringa plant from Florida, and he gave me a cutting, and I didn't really think much of it. In the Philippines, they call it malunggay. Okay, so I didn't know that it was a moringa.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I didn't know. And so then I brought it home. I really didn't even pay much attention to it. Put it in some soil, and it just started growing like crazy.
In a pot?
In a pot. Yeah, and so it was getting too big. I live in a condo, so I decided to give it to my cousin, and then later found out through Grow PHX that it was actually a moringa tree, and I've been wanting a moringa tree. I had one the whole time, so
Wow,
that's why I
awesome.
want some of these now.
And this is fragrant moringa. So this one is the one that smells really good, and you guys saw me trim it on camera. I think it was on the January 1st video, but now there's 2 trunks. I knew I was gonna give it to somebody, so that's why I waited to prune it till today. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Molingai is another word. And actually, there's a whole bunch of names for moringa that are around the world that we don't really know about. We just call it moringa.
Yeah,
I mean, but
apparently in Southeast Asia they call it malunggay.
and even like nebadai is another tree, because it's hard to kill it once you get it going, and because it's called the tree of life, and it helps you live a long time.
Oh wow.
So never die actually translates to never die, which is interesting. But cool. Well, I'm excited to give you moringas.
Thank
and
you.
You're gonna have a whole bunch of cuttings, and we're gonna do some more moringa stuff too, guys. So we're gonna have more cuttings. But right now, I'm giving fragrant to a good home.
Can't wait.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dave Stone with another exciting episode of Develop Awesome Skills, where I'm committed to providing inspirational and practical ways to transform your life and the world around you by planting fruit and medicinal trees. And this is one of my obsessions, my favorite trees. This is the moringa tree, and today I'm gonna show you how to prune them. In fact, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm giving some cuttings away to my camera lady right now, so thank you. And but we're gonna be cutting, and I'm gonna be showing you how to plant these cuttings. Now, this is Maui. This is the first tree I planted here at Stonehaven probably 4.5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And it's the mom to a whole bunch of other trees here. So what I'm gonna do is really just totally revamp this tree. And you can see this is the main trunk here, but I'm gonna actually, this would be a perfect cutting to plant because it's so thick. So if I planted this cutting, because I'm gonna probably take it off like right here, if I planted this cutting, I'd probably plant it all the way up, probably to ground level actually, and just leave like a couple nodes on these ones above ground, maybe choose one. So this is gonna root out really a lot. This is gonna have a lot of energy in it to start really sprouting and growing a brand new tree. You want more under the ground than you want above, but you could still have about 1 foot to 18 inches above ground, and then you'll be able to choose the trunk you want to come up. So yeah, I'm just gonna take this one off right here. I should probably get a bigger saw for this one, but I think it'll work. Moringas have a lot of water in the tree, but this is a pretty big branch here. I should probably trim it up before I go. So this one here, well, there's a whole bunch of seeds too. We're gonna be collecting these seeds because they are very plantable. This is actually a plantable size cutting though, as well. This one's only about 2 inches or 1.5 inches in diameter. I would plant it like 2 feet into the ground, like 18 inches. So this will be a viable cutting if we want. This one would probably work too, but it's on the thin side.
Woo!
There it is. Oh yeah. This is probably pretty good like it is. I might just plant the whole thing and really just bury it up to here. You can even cut this one off if you don't want it. Not even bury it, like it's a big hole. It's just gonna give a lot of root structure. That one will definitely be good. All right, there's one. Since I'm here, I might as well do the rest of the tree, and I'll clean up all the pods later. So I'm just gonna leave these 3 branches here. I'll clean up these cuts with a better saw in the next pass. I'm just gonna kind of go eye level here.
Close.
Gotcha. This is a nice,
Wow.
really nice cutting here too. So I'm just gonna do that for these 2 as well. First, I cut it on the back underneath where I'm cutting, because when it falls, I don't want it to rip the bark off the backside. I just want it to break. See if this hits my truck. Only a little. This one might hit the rainbow though.
Woo!
All right, this is a decent workout pruning trees. So I hope you guys liked watching me prune Maui. These cuttings are gonna go in the ground, and you gotta be a little patient with cuttings in the beginning, right when you plant them. Give it a good 4 months before you're like, I'm pulling it. Because there were some times when it kind of, with a seed, you plant a seed and it grows. You watch it grow, it's awesome. Seeds will sometimes grow just as fast as cuttings also. But cuttings, you get the exact same variety of tree. So you know it's the same, but with seeds, it's all gonna still be Moringa oleifera, but there's many different growing patterns within each Moringa. So I'm just gonna trim all these branches off, and then we're gonna have a whole bunch of cuttings. So this one actually could be plant up to there, leave a few nodes out of the ground, probably up to here.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Could you plant that half and that half?
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Cutting it because there'll be a second one here.
Cool.
Now, you still, like I said, want to plant as deep as you can, so leave only a couple nodes out of the ground.
But I want to cut off this right here, correct?
This guy?
Yeah, I want to cut that off, expose that node, right? And then put that under some soil.
So really, make sure you're planting them upright too. If you don't know if it's upright, kind of look at the way these nodes go. You can kind of tell. You don't want to plant it like that, because that won't work. So yeah, this one, I definitely would take this off, but I do find it better to be more of a minimalist when planting cuttings above the ground. Below the ground is fine. You could cut this off, but I probably wouldn't. It's fine. You can do rooting hormone if you want. Now plant well though. So what I mean is good soil, mycorrhiza, rock dust, worm castings, wood chips on top, and then watered every day. Now, if you're in a wet area, which we're not, if you're in a rainy area, you want to make sure that you plant moringas on a mound, because they also are susceptible to root rot if overwatered or sitting in water. So we don't need to put them on a mound. We want a well because we want to just do just how Greg Petersen says, you know, fill the well up, you know, big 8 feet around the tree is the right amount of wood chips. Like, at least like for me, like put them like 18 inches high, mound them up. That's just slow release food. And then mycorrhiza, rock dust, worm castings, and feed the trees. But anyways, that's what it will take. Or just plant this in the ground under the dirt, like here. Probably I would do that. Just leave these out of the ground. And then you're gonna have, it's gonna find the one that sprouts, and you're gonna be able to choose the trunk you wanna use next year. So this is an excellent one. It's got a lot of weight to it, a lot of water in it. If you wait 1 week before you plant this, it will not be this heavy. It will have evaporated most of this water. So it's really important to plant these. At least get them in some dirt as quickly as you can.
Okay.
And then, see, this is the second piece of that. You want to make sure so if I leave a couple of these on, you'll make sure you know which way's up. You can easily tell on that one because it's thicker. But sometimes you get them mixed up. So you can just trim these back at home. And this is probably the end of that one. You don't want any green leaves on these. This is probably a little bit too big, but you might be able to split it in two and make 2 out of this one too.
Okay.
And if it doesn't work, hey,
come back.
You give it a shot. Yeah, there's plenty more. And we're gonna be doing, I'm actually thinking of doing, if you guys are interested in this, let me know in the comments. I'm thinking about doing an annual moringa sale or event or festival, or I haven't fully developed it yet, but we gotta represent moringa. We have to. Nobody's really doing it. So I think that's my job. So I'll let you know what I come up with. But if you're interested in something like that, let me know. Okay, let's clean up these ones. And then these seeds here are all viable if they're brown. So these ones are all plantable. They will all make new trees. Or you can eat them or press them for oil, but they're very viable. I could use these leaves to ferment for fertilizer or to feed to my ducks, which I might. But also you can just chop and drop moringa because it'll feed your trees. It feeds us and it feeds the soil as well.
Do you eat the leaves?
Yeah, I definitely do. But in the winter, they don't taste as good. The little sprouts are okay. I don't like to eat them when there's like dots all over them.
So fresher moringa leaves are...
Spring and summer.
Okay.
Spring and summer, those I eat them every day fresh. Ooh, they're really spicy right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, the little sprouts.
The babies.
Kind of like a horseradish spice. So here's one thick enough to do something with. I mean, it might be a cool experiment to plant up to here and leave this,
Yes.
you know, and then like let it get one, and then it might come up and do something weird. So those are fun, which maybe I cut it right above this node to give it a chance, and then you have another one here. It's a good core workout. Okay. I mean, just to be funky and weird, we could just trim it here. And it might be too much. It might, this branch on the top might die off, but I might do something funky, you know, that, I don't know what that would do. If you planted it like that, I would plant it up to here in the ground. You might get some up branches here, which might make for a cool tree. I might take this whole thing off and just do that, but this might also be weird, just in case.
Why not?
You can trim it up later to do whatever you want with it, but. So this is kind of also something, so I'll take these off at the bottom. because you can kind of try to shape a tree a little bit with the cutting if you want, or you can just let the tree grow a trunk, or you can chop it down at the base every year and make it like a moringa bush if you wanted to. Multi-trunk. I kind of like single trunks, but it's up to you guys. What are you doing, sweetheart?
This kitty's playing.
You can get her. What are you doing, baby?
Do you ever feed moringa to the animals?
Yeah, she likes it. Jumps all over my trees and climbs them. She's a monkey in a cat's body.
What do you do with all the seeds, all the pods?
Right now, just kind of store them and plant them. This year I'm gonna do intensive planting. I'm gonna do some rows in my backyard and do like seed, and do them like a field. They produce really heavy that way.
Wow.
So I'm just kind of experimenting with them. I do want to get an oil press too. I don't think I have enough seeds though to really press them to get Ben oil, because you need a lot. But in a couple years, I'm gonna have a lot. Because I mean, I have a lot of trees planted right now. So this would I might try something like this, and I don't know if it would work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know, maybe cut. You know, leave these on. See what happens, or take this bottom one off, leave like 3, and then you might have a nice something. So, and you can always trim them back more, but sometimes minimalism, like I said, oh, well, maybe not. I didn't see that part.
This gash.
I wouldn't do that now, I see that. I would just cut I would cut this all off. Oh, that's coming off anyway. Yeah, I just trim it up. Nice. And then, yeah, maybe.
That looks good.
I mean, I might take this bottom one off because you'd really want to plant it kind of up here. So you might even take this one off, but you could choose to do whatever you want with them. So yeah, I mean, they're pretty forgiving, but you might notice this whole branch die off. But who cares? Maybe it sprouts up here or sprouts here. It'll probably sprout on the main trunk though. Now, Hawaii back there, which was one of Maui's cuttings, I planted like a candelabra, and it really did build a nice full tree. So there we go. And then I'm gonna do one more on this video, and I have a lot more moringas to trim. So we're gonna be doing a Stonehaven Moringa Day or something where you guys can come get some cuttings. But we're gonna go back and we're gonna chop down the trunk on fragrant moringa, because I wanna give you something special, because fragrant, I've never had a moringa smell as good as the flowers on that tree. And I'm gonna give you the part of the tree, the cutting, which means it's a genetic replica, so it should smell the same.
Awesome.
So let's come in the back and see. Yeah, let's just cut this big one down, and you can probably get 2 cuttings out of it.
Sweet.
So I'm just gonna come right at the base. Oh yeah. I wanna be careful when I get close. I don't wanna cut the other trunk. Nice.
Nice and clean. Look at that.
This is heavier than I expected it to be. But this is a perfect cutting. It actually might be 2. Yeah. I'd
2?
take it here, and then I would put this underground. Mm-hmm. And I would probably trim off. But see, whatever you want to do on this one, that's what I did here, is I cut off one of those. Mm-hmm. This is called pollarding. If you keep letting it grow from these, it'll make these bulges. Sometimes people trim the bulges. It's called pollarding. I don't really like that look, but
is there a benefit in growing it that way? Is
I
it
actually
purely,
don't think it's beneficial to the tree.
It's just aesthetics?
It might actually, people might think it's benefiting the tree somehow. And it might be, but it doesn't seem like it would benefit the tree. It seems like it might be just aesthetics. So I'm not really sure though. I just don't really like the look. So I usually will pick one of these or just, you know, like I did there, trimmed it off, but you know, I'm not sure. Maybe we leave this in one piece and just plant it. And if you got to just top it, I would top it right here.
Okay.
Then you'd have a nice big cutting. That's probably better. Yeah, because I don't really like how this is all growing up here.